Alrighty guys, so today I'm going to do another Dragon Ball Z segment on how did Future Trunks get his sword. In this video, I'm going to state two theories for how he got his sword along with my opinion on which theory makes the most sense. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the video. Let's first start off by talking about the theory that Future Trunks got his sword from Future Gohan. Future Trunks was always seen with his sword in the anime since he fought against Frieza and his minions. Some sources say that Future Trunks got his sword from Future Gohan as he was shown with a sword as a teenager. Logically, this makes the most sense as it is also noted that Trunks' sword extends its size to fit the user as it could have been made from Piccolo's magic. Gohan was a sword user as a child too, and if the sword really does change for its user, it would explain why the sword seemed larger when King Cold and Trunks used it. The whole sword extension thing could be completely false, and it may simply be an art mistake on the creator's part. I will say, however, that Trunks did indeed kill King Cold the exact same way in the manga, with a bit less exaggeration in reaction to how Trunks killed Frieza. There isn't much to say about this theory except the fact that Gohan gave his sword to Trunks and taught him how to craft it. Now let me explain how Tapion's theory for Future Trunks may work. First of all, we have to accept the knowledge that the fact of the matter is that the Wrath of the Dragon movie is filler. If we are going to accept the filler as canon, there may be an explanation for Future Trunks and how he got it, but the android threat still makes this hard to accept. We have seen Future Trunks with the sword on two occasions, one in the filler episode which is called Ghost from Tomorrow, and the other from the special The History of Trunks. Both the episode and the special are different from the original manga in which Trunks was seen with the sword going to fight the androids, although the fight was never actually seen in the manga. We never saw Trunks with the sword in the manga and in The History of Trunks before Gohan's death, while in the Ghost from Tomorrow episode we did in fact see it. If Trunks were to receive his sword from Tapion, he could have only gotten the sword between Gohan's death and when he went to fight the androids. To be honest, the Dragon Ball Z series has three versions of Trunks' timeline, which are too different to determine the truth. But Tapion's arrival can fit in all three scenarios. It's just unlikely. First of all, Hoi wouldn't come to Earth in the first place to try and revive Hirudegarn, because the Dragon Balls are completely gone. This would completely get rid of the Hirudegarn threat completely. If Tapion did come, he would probably try to fight the androids with Trunks in some way, but it's obvious from the outcome that they didn't beat the androids. Keep in mind that Tapion was also sealed in a music box which required the Dragon Balls. Another problem would be if Hoi and Tapion did come, which would rule out the two reasons for them not coming. Tapion would still be trapped inside the music box. For me to accept this, I have to rule out two things. My final point about the Tapion concept is that he probably used Bulma's time machine from the movie to go to Future Trunks' timeline, but it would still make no sense as he would have no sword to give Kid Trunks. Ignoring all the specifics, it's impossible for Future Trunks' Tapion to be the same one as the one in the present. There have to be two Tapions for this to try and make sense, but really that would make even less sense. Overall, people often try to make Tapion's sword gift to Trunks as a way to explain how he got it, but logically it makes absolutely no sense based on the timing. When a story is written and there's a plot hole, it's very difficult to make future events cover up past events. In this case, the creators could have simply said that Gohan taught Trunks how to use a sword, and that's how he got it. By saying Tapion gave it to him, they are putting themselves in a plot hole and they're making this a lot more confusing to fans. In the History of Trunks and the manga, Future Trunks probably already had the sword, which was seen in the filler episode Ghost from Tomorrow. That, along with the fact that Trunks said himself that Gohan taught him how to fight and how to be a swordsman through some sources, makes the most sense in explaining how he ultimately got his sword. His sword was given to him from Gohan. When Tapion said you were meant to have the sword, it was simply a way to explain how the present Trunks got his sword. Now as for the present Trunks in Dragon Ball GT, although it is not canon like Dragon Ball Z was, it would make complete sense for how he got his sword. He didn't really use it in the actual Dragon Ball GT series, but he was seen using it in an introduction, killing a few robots, which isn't really canon. The only question is, why didn't he use the sword or at least mention Tapion? Because Dragon Ball GT isn't considered canon, most fans probably don't care. That to me is the only possible way for Tapion's sword to fit as the present time Gohan wouldn't really have given his sword to Trunks as they weren't as close and there was no actual reason to give it to him. So guys, that's been my video for today. I hope you guys can now see that there's a lot simple, it's a lot more logical to say that Gohan gave it to him. I'm really curious what you guys think. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and as I always say, to have a great day, guys.